inhumane atrocities that took place throughout the Second World War. These were not just carried out on the battlefield, but within camps set up all over mainland Europe. Camps in which 6 million Jews, as well as millions of other victims, were systematically slaughtered, starved and worked to death. This mass genocide was committed by normal German people on the basis that they were only following orders, which caused many to believe that Germans were simply different, inherently evil.
However, Stanley Milgram was not convinced. In an effort to test the Germans a different hypothesis, which was the view that German people tended to be of an authoritarian personality, making them very accepting of orders issued to them by an authority figure. In the case of the atrocities that stimulated Milgram's study, Adolf Hitler, Adolf Eichmann and other senior Nazis.
An ad was sent out in a newspaper calling for males 20 to 50 years of age and living in New Haven, USA. Participants would be paid $4.50 for taking part, even if they later refused to carry on with the experiment. Of the applicants, 40 men from a range of occupational and educational backgrounds were selected to take part. The study was carried out at Yale University, where participants were told they were to take part in a study on the relationship between punishment and learning. This was, however, a lie. The participant was then introduced to a Confederate posing to be a fellow participant. These two men were then allocated a role at random. One man would be the teacher and the other the learner, though the draw was rigged so the Confederate would always be the learner.
The learner would be strapped down. The participant then read out word pairs to the learner, and afterwards, the learner had to give the second word when the participant provided the first. If the learner got the answer wrong, he would be given an electric shock, with the first being 15 volts, increasing in 15-volt increments up to 450. All the time the participant believed that he was shocking the learner, tape recordings of the learner's complaints, moans and screams being played to make the participant aware that he was harming the learner. If the participant was reluctant to issue shocks, a number of scripted prods would be given by the experimenter in an effort to make the participant continue. Of course, this was staged and no shocks were really issued.
All 40 participants went up to 300 volts, with 65% of them going all the way up to 450. This result was extremely surprising and very disturbing, because when Milgram explained the study to psychiatrists and students, it was thought that only 1 in 1,000 people, 0.1%, would go all the way to 450 volts. Also, after being debriefed, 74% of participants claimed to have learned something of personal importance. Only one participant regretted taking part.
Milgram concluded that the majority of ordinary people will follow destructive orders if instructed to do so by an authority figure, even when another person's life is at risk.
After the shocking result of his first experiment, Milgram went on to conduct multiple variations of it, testing different factors that contributed to this obedience. When two Confederates that were alongside the participant refused to continue, only 10% remained obedient to the experimenter. When the experimenter had no lab coat, obedience fell to 20%. When the learner was in the same room as the participant, obedience fell to 40%. However, when the learner could not be seen or heard, obedience rose to 100%.